All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. I'm trying to make this an impromptu lesson. Uh, in light of the recent exchange of missile fire from Israel and Iran. All right. A few days ago, you had, well, actually yesterday, excuse me. Actually, yesterday you had Iran allegedly retaliating against Israel for their attacks on, I think it's Bahrain um, or Lebanon, right? Um, they said they were searching for uh, what's called that Hezbollah. All right, so you have they kind of breaking the ceasefire. Israel strikes targets in Iran, so they're retaliating back and forth. The last retaliation came from Israel, I think, last night. Um, of course, there's allegations that the Iranian missiles didn't land in Israel, but when you look at the videos surfacing all over the internet, which you can't trust a lot of videos, but they're showing those missiles hitting their targets in Israel. All right, and I think Iran did like 5 waves of attacks with ballistic missiles within a few hours. And now, mind you, um, we can't forget that Iran is still using missiles from like the 1960s, 1970s, post World War II technology. They haven't even begun to use their modernized weapons. You know, they haven't even begun to use them yet. So it says Iran, Israel confrontation, Iran, Israel, and Israel exchanges. Let me see what this says. Tehran warns of greater force if Israel strikes. All right, and they put out a map. Iran put out a map. Let me see if I can pull it up. Uh, yeah, if I can find it. But they put out a map of all their targets in the Middle East of the U.S. Of U.S. allies. You can't even see it. But if the U.S. decides to invade, they have a they put out a list of targets that they're going to hit over there, and I think Dubai is one of them. All right, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, all these places are under threat from under 2 hour threat. Like it happened within an hour or so, out of nowhere. Um, without announcement. People are over there. A lot of Jake like to go over there to Dubai. All right, so it'd be smart for them to get out of those areas and start moving different places because they wouldn't have any warning to get out of those places. All right, so they're going back and forth. Um, now, it's always going to be Israel. Israel kept bombing, kept attacking Lebanon, and now Iran is upset again and attacking, which is what breaking the ceasefire. You know, um, so the slick way of doing it would be like America saying, "Hey, we got the ceasefire with you, not Israel, with Lebanon." See, but Iran is like, "No, you got to leave all of them alone." You know, stop bullying the world. But I want to play this video. This is an impromptu. I just want to go through a couple things dealing with this situation. And I'm gonna play the video from Redacted. I'm gonna try to speed it up so I don't get any copyright strike. But they're alleging that Iran already has nuclear weapons. um, I believe so, but according to the nuclear proliferation treaty, you know, to where these major countries like Russia, America, China, they're not allowed to help or allow these smaller countries to have nukes. All right, and they're not supposed to give them nukes. But due to all these recent exchanges and the U.S. and Israel breaking their treaties and their being hypocritical, now all that goes out the window. Russia can supply whoever they want without you even knowing, because they're like, and they're not really standing on their treaties anyway. It's all corrupt. Can't trust them. This is what they're saying about the West. All right, so I want to play this real quick. After I read this, it says live updates. Iran and Israel exchange first attacks since ceasefire. All right, so threatening return to all-out war. That's why the scriptures say that, man. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth. So they gotta have a starting point, like a fire being kindled. The Lord said, "What? Um, look at this. This is Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled?" See, that fire, that destruction is being kindled in the earth. All right. So the Lord's saying, what do you think His will is if you start seeing this thing kindle, this war heating up in the earth? So it's being kindled, the starting point. All right. And we're seeing it. The flame ignites. They try to dissipate or um, stop the war, hold it up. Then it ignites again. And scripture say the least of them shall draw them out. So Israel's like the damn uh, the match, and Iran is the damn strike pad. They just keep igniting, keep hitting. Every time they meet, they just spark right back up. And then the U.S. is right there. Well, really, the Lord is using the U.S., Russia, and China to fan the flames to keep it going. All right. Not the scripture where it says she'll fan her. I'm not talking about that. But I am come to send fire on the earth. And what will I if it be already kindled? I mean, it's Yahweh Shai that's bringing these wars to pass. And regardless what man thinks, it's the Lord that's going to bring about his prophecies. All right. Just like in Egypt, just like in Babylon, they didn't plan or have plans for their kingdoms to fall in ancient times. It was the Most High's will. So it's His will for these wars to break out to bring about an expected end. Look at Granted. So let's play this video clip. Hold up. Check this out.
Hold on, I can explain. I think what's going on with that the commander for naval forces, U.S. naval forces, they're under instructions to try to identify and locate all of the both weapon systems and communication nodes that Iran uses to coordinate and shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And so by that, you can run in some decoys like these ships. They get lit up. The Iranians fire at them. Then we go back and fire at them. So that's what's been going on. But as that activity occurred, you didn't hear Trump come out and start threatening the Iranians. Not a
Right.
word. Not a word. So, I mean, hell, he got madder at Candace Owens. you know,
I know. I mean, they cannot get a nuclear weapon. Oh boy, guess what? They already have one. And so
So now the new talk is that Iran allegedly already has nukes, at least enough for like 8 warheads or something like that. But it really doesn't matter if they have them. the 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 issue is going to be that it's like this. At this point, Iran doesn't even have to have nukes, physical nuclear weapons, which they're said to possibly be doing a demonstration soon. Like we might see a nuclear explosion go off in Iran real soon. And the scriptures say that, man, this thing is going to go nuclear. All right. And if we see that go off in Iran real soon, a demonstration, then they'll be letting the world know that they are strong, like the scriptures say. That's all they've been doing this whole time. Is showing their strength, that they're not weak as the West thought. All right. So he's saying they already have one. But I'm gonna show you the trick in a minute.
now what? Now we're in a totally different world if this is true. And I have every reason to believe it is because our reporting here, I didn't report it. I sat on this information for weeks, pulling in different data points. And then when you let the cat out of the bag, you and Pepe this week, I said, okay, these are pieces of that bigger story here.
Yeah.
One of the other pieces of this bigger story is Russia's involvement. So one thing I haven't reported, and I'll report it now, is that as I mentioned at the top, we believe that Iran has enough nuclear material, cake, so forth, fully enriched for 8 to 12 nuclear warheads. Now, have they assembled them? We don't know. And are they fully assembled and ready to go? We don't know. But we do know, according to reports that I'm hearing, that the mechanism.
Right? They don't know. They don't know what the hell Iran got over there. This all assumptions from Esau, him too. All right. They always act like they know what somebody got. They don't know. They could have thousands. But the point is, there you go. Listen.
Came from Russia, that those pieces came from their friends to the north. Do you have any?
The pieces to the puzzle. The pieces to the puzzle, the nuclear puzzle, allegedly came from Russia, which we already assumed this. That Russia was going to be supplying Iran with nuclear technology, nuclear. Um, I'm gonna show you. Matter of fact, I just read something for you. Let me go back to this real quick. Hold up. There you go. Let me make this small. I'll go here. All right, I'm gonna read an article for you real quick. Where is it at? Um, this is what I want. There you go. It says Russia possesses several critical technical material and scientific mechanisms that could accelerate or finalize Iran's deployment of a functional nuclear weapon. While Russia historically acted as a non proliferation partner, right? Like I said in the beginning, the, the non proliferation treaty to where the smaller nations cannot have nukes, cannot be supplied by the bigger countries, the nuclear power countries. But due to all these back and forth with the U.S., Iran, and Israel, Russia is a strategic defense partner of Iran. So they defending them in different ways, like the scriptures say. All right. So All they got to do is form Voltron and put that last piece to the puzzle, or last few pieces to Iran's puzzle. Look, man, check this out, man. It's crazy. Well, let me read it for you. While Russia historically acted as a non proliferation partner to limit Iran's weapons capability, it's shifting strategic priorities. It has priority to protect Iran and its allies. All right. Following the invasion of Ukraine, and Western sanctions have deepened its military technical ties with Tehran. See, these wars are making the prophecies come. The Lord is using that to make the prophecies come to pass. All right. The attack in Ukraine, from Ukraine, the attacks on Iran and Syria, all Russian allies, removing removing Russia from what was that called, man? What was it called? They removed Russia from SWIFT. That's what it was called, the SWIFT banking system. Remember that? When they did that, that caused Russia to move towards the BRICS and set up those nations to bank their own banking system. Right? When they started getting attacked militarily, that caused Russia to start building their own military force according to the scriptures. Let's get that real quick. This is Ezekiel 38 and 7. Well, 38 and 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, meaning Gog, that area of Ra'ash or Russia, is going to be used. Um, I think what chief means, but that area is going to be used in these last days in the prophecies, all right, as a dominant nation. And even though they're Edomites, that area is being used in the prophecies as Russia, all right. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal and prophesy against them, so that the chief ruler of that area over in Eurasia would be the Kremlin or Russia, Moscow, and say, Thus saith Yahweh, see, this is from the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. See, the Lord, even though he's using Russia, he's still against them, meaning the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right, the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High, and he turns it whithersoever he wills. It says what? And I will turn thee back. See? So the Lord has turned and took control of Russia and turned them back to that Soviet Union mindset of annexing and wanting those countries under them, like Ukraine, and such. So basically wanting them to fight back like a bear out of hibernation since 1991, the fall of the Soviet Union, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. And that happened in 2016, if you know your research. Russia stepped back up once the Brexit happened. All right. Um, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. I mean, they started increasing their military technology, man. Okay, advancements. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, meaning completely defended and able to attack, offense and defense. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. See, all of them going to be protected too, have defenses. All right. Gomer and all of his bands, the house of Togarmah of the North Quarters and all of his bands, and many people with thee. So that's talking about Turkey and his allies. Be thou prepared. See? So Russia is already prepared. That's what it means with the bear is enough, meaning they're they're the ones that the Lord's going to use to bring this destruction on the west, according to the scriptures. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. So not only Russia is prepared, but they also prepared Iran and its allies. All right. So they're prepared for this war. Thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, those BRICS nations, and be thou a guard unto them. So they're preparing them, supplying them, and guarding them with intel, and soon physically guarding them. All right, they already gave them defense. What do you call them things? Uh, missiles, missile technology. So anyway, let's keep going. It says here, be thou prepared. So Russia's prepared for World War III, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy army. So Russia's preparing um, and protecting these smaller nations for their own safety. All right. So now let's keep going. I want to read this real quick and show how Russia is protecting them. Intelligence agencies and defense experts identify the following distinct mechanisms through which Russia can facilitate Iran's nuclear weaponization. See, they're facilitating it. Computer modeling, and simulation technology. They got simulations, man. I'm talking about the simulations are so advanced that it's like it's almost in real time. So they don't have to test a nuke. They can just simulate it in so much detail that they'll have the precision down packed. So it's like they just testing it over and over again without an explosion, a physical explosion. So all they need is the once the equipment gets dropped to them, they couple everything together. The scientists are there, the technology is there, the practice has already happened thousands of times, probably over and over again. You got Russian scientists in at the what they call it, the Bushehr nuclear plant over there. You know, so you got Russian intelligence stationed in within Iran's boundaries. So it says here, weapons design validation. All right. Western intelligence reveals that Iranian nuclear scientists have visited Russian laboratories to gain access to advanced computer simulation technology, bypassing physical tests. So they don't have to test a nuke. That's why the scriptures say it's going to, uh, no man knows the day or the hour. It's just going to happen out of nowhere, unexpectedly. High performance computing models allow Iran to simulate and test the hydrodynamic phases of a nuclear implosion. This enables weapon design validation covertly without conducting detectable physical test explosions. They could be testing nukes right now. We wouldn't even know it because they're using simulations from Russia. Specialized engineering and material expertise. All right. Technical exchange. It only take like a couple of days. They can make a missile because they got all the expertise. Everything's there. They just waiting. It's like somebody sitting in front of you that's been training, and they took a weapon or a gun apart. Got the springs out. They've been cleaning it 1,000 times with a blindfold. Like the military. They take the gun apart and they lay it all out. Got the bullets there too. And then they look at you and say, they're gonna shoot you. If you say, hey, you're gonna shoot me, you ain't got it together. You don't know that they can do it with a damn blindfold and put it right back together in a second, maybe 2 seconds. Who knows? But and then you begin to threaten them, and they put that joint together so quick. Boop, 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 boop. You know. So it's gonna be muscle memory by the time the war starts. Technical exchange. Iranian research entities have engaged with Russian technology firms to observe advanced industrial processes. These exchanges focus on high precision engineering and the handling of specialized materials that have applications to both civilian and military sectors. Advanced technology research. All right, so they collaborate in fields such as laser technology and material science provides a foundation for sophisticated fuel management. Such expertise is critical for understanding the properties of materials used within a nuclear fuel cycle. Delivery system development, aerospace engineering, guidance systems, technical support, civil nuclear infrastructure, and fuel management, technical training. Coming from the Russia built and continues to support the Bushehr nuclear power plant, which they said America better not touch, which maintains a presence of Russian technicians within the Iranian nuclear ecosystem. All right, so they're supporting them. This cooperation facilitates the maintenance of a sophisticated technical workforce and dual use infrastructure, fuel cycle oversight, international oversight. As a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council and the IAEA, Russia can provide significant diplomatic support. This includes um, opposing international sanctions. All right, so they can go against and team up with Iran and go against any sanctions from the West. Defense hardware, the transfer of advanced air defense systems. That's what it was. Air defense systems and electronic warfare technology strengthens the security of strategic sites. These systems are designed to protect infrastructure from external kinetic or cyber interference. So, and it could just be, sending them the housing for the missiles, you know, all the pieces to the puzzle that Iran would need. You might as well say they got nukes, basically, even though I believe they have some physically, but more than people can imagine. But I also believe that with Russia being involved, they have the ability to put these nukes together like a puzzle within a matter of days, like nothing, because they already tested everything through what do you call that, simulation technology from Russia. All right, so hold on, go back. Oh, I said, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So all his allies. All right. Isaiah 14 and 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee. Talking about Esau, especially over here in the West, in Babylon, and those elites over in Europe that are going to war with Iran and Russia. Revelation chapter 6 said they're bringing hell on the earth, right? Causing these nations to have to fight, all the nations to fight, even the weak ones. It says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" See that? That's what they were doing. They were shaking up kingdoms, shaking up nations, especially since World War II, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were shaking up those Middle Eastern nations. It's called a shakedown, robbing them. Now they were destroying them. But Habakkuk chapter 2, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So now they're all coming together against her round about because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein, man. All the wickedness here, all the destruction and wickedness they're pushing out into the world. Woe to them that covet an evil covetousness to their house, right? Through ill-gotten gain, through evil, getting rich and becoming powerful through oppressing of nations. It says the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is his poverty. All right. It says that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people and hast sinned against thy own soul. Okay. So it's going to come, the blowback is going to be crazy. And that's why these nations are preparing and passing nuke technology around like hotcakes in jail or cigarettes. That they, I don't deal with that, but y'all know how this stuff get passed around. That's just a saying we heard growing up. Shit getting passed around like hotcakes. All right. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords. And that's what these nations have done. So, especially since 1991, with fall of the Soviet Union. Russia invested all of its resources, agricultural resources, into their military infrastructure. So they're completely prepared. Beat your plowshares into swords. So that's what these nations like Iran are doing. They were being peaceful at first, and now they're focusing on their military defense and offense. Beat your plowshares into swords, into missiles, and your pruning hooks into spears. All right, that's something that's thrown. Okay, uh, ICBMs. Let the weak say, "I am strong," and that's what they're doing. They're saying they're strong, and we're about to see how strong they really are. We ain't fully see it yet. You can tell they're holding back. All right.
Any information that could also further that story?
I was told the exact same thing 4 days ago.
There you go. So the mechanisms, the pieces that you would need to take the cake, put it together, and launch these particular warheads has come from Russia.
Yeah. And the Russia Chinese involvement, just a slight, let me take a minor detour from your story. I was watching the shelling, the attacks of the Iranians on Bahrain. Now that's where the Fifth Fleet headquarters was based. And I thought, well, why are they blowing up a base that's basically abandoned? I have since learned that there is a very sensitive, highly classified system. Let's call it a communication system that was based in Bahrain and that ended up having a major role in the space program and from the standpoint of the Department of Defense. Now, I mean, this is all I know is that I was told the Joint Chiefs of Staff are freaking out.
You're helping me piece together this puzzle here live.
See, we need to talk more.
I know. 12, Space Force.
Yeah, man. So you see it there for yourself. Now there's talks that Iran has those missiles. Um, and we know that if not, they have the technology and the means to put it together in a matter of days, like it's nothing, through their allies, Russia and China. All right, live updates. Iran and Israel exchanged first attacks since the ceasefire, threatening return to all-out war. The strikes came hours after President Donald Trump said he would tell the U.S. ally not to retaliate against Tehran, but they're gonna get drawn out again. They keep getting drawn out into the war. Israel had, which is ultimately that's their plans anyway. Israel had earlier struck Beirut. That's what it was, not Bahrain. Beirut, despite agreeing to a ceasefire in Lebanon. All right. The Israeli Air Force struck military targets belonging to the Iranian regime in western and central Iran a short while ago. All right, so Trump warns Netanyahu. It said the least of them shall draw them out. They're getting drawn. They're getting drawn out into the war over and over again. You had that friend that just keep getting you into fights and shit. You go out, which we don't do that anymore. But if you have a friend, you go out to the club, and every time you go out, you get drunk. That's what Esau Netanyahu does. He gets drunk off of blood, off of war, you know, and he's starting fights and drawing his friend into the fight. Jeremiah 50 and 45. Actually, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon, or against Esau, or the U.S. and his purposes, that he have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, or the land that was really established by those Europeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, man. All right, so they're being drawn out to this war by their allies, while Russia um, is being defended, and they're preparing for each other and showing patience with their allies. But either way, this is happening right here because they're attacking all these nations. You know, he said, "Thou shalt be for booties unto them." Now, let me get the scripture. This is Joel. Yeah, this is Joel 3 and 10 again, but in translation it says, "Hammer the points of your plows into swords. Get prepared to fight. Fight back." They're causing all the nations in the world to fight, man. And your pruning knives into spears. Even the weak must fight. Right? There you go. Let's go to go to the scripture real quick. Isaiah 14 and 9. Go to Isaiah 14 and 9 real quick. It says here, Isaiah 14 and 9, hell from beneath is moved for thee, just for thee, man. So as they're, according to the prophecies, the Most High is stirring up, mustering the host of the battle, stirring up these nations so they can come against Babylon. All right. So they all coming together. What are these meetings for? To fight against the West. All right. So it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. See, the Lord already has them figured out. He's going to confound them as they moving forward with Revelation 6 to bring nothing but death and destruction on this earth and war against these nations. They say, what did it say? Because thou hast said, I am a queen and shall not be a widow, and no one beside me, meaning they're going to start fighting off these nations, trying to oppress them and knock them down, keep them small. They want to remain the dominant force on the earth, But the Lord said, nah, that time is up. He appointed their bounds that they cannot pass. And he said, get thee into the dust, into darkness. That's it. There is no more throne for you. All right, so this is it. So hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee. So the Lord is mustering the host of this battle with these heathen nations to come up against Babylon. Even all the chief ones of the earth, all of them, are coming together. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. They moving around, having all kind of meetings, huddling up. All right. So they're preparing for this war. So I just want to bring that out real quick because of the recent attacks on Iran from Israel. And then by the time you hear about it, it'll say, yeah, Iran attacked. So Israel exchanges. Nah, it started with Israel once again. All right. Iran and Israel exchanges. Tehran warns of greater force. See, let the weak say they're strong. If Israel strikes, man, continue strike. And what happened? They struck. Israel strikes targets in Iran. So we'll see what happens today and any type of updates on this war, man. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Hopefully it's edifying. See you on the next one. All right, shalom.